Devontae. And the foul. Oh, look at the strength. Devontae Graham's got a chance for a three-point play. Backdoor cut up. Beauty! Marvin finds Devontae. Massive shot! And the Hornets break the century mark. They continue.
Yo, what's good, man? It's Devontae Graham, man. I just wanted to say, hey, I appreciate y'all for following Gundacker's channel, man. Y'all make sure y'all follow him, tell a friend about him. He's the man.
What's up, guys? Happy Saturday, November 9th, 2019, man. I hope you guys are doing well as we crank up the first morning of the weekend. I hope you guys had a fun Friday night. We were chock full of basketball last night, and boy, howdy, did we have some incredible fantasy scores. It was a wild night. I don't know if I remember so many guys having 30-plus real point games, 40-plus, 50-plus. It was crazy. A couple 70 bombs. But those massive Friday night slates, hey, they get a little weird. But it is what it is, man. Hopefully you guys made it out with some more money than you walked in with. I did. I had my favorite players last night didn't do well. Malcolm Brogdon and Karl-Anthony Towns. But, man, I had just enough of the specials, the bombs, to make a little bit of scratch there. So, had some fun there. If you guys are looking to make some money over the course of next week and you're not part of a great DFS community, man, I definitely invite you guys to come be part of our familia at rundfs.com. All you gotta do is head on over there, make yourself an account, get signed up, and check out a Week Pass. A Week Pass right now will get you covered over the tomorrow. We got NFL coverage, and then of course the next week we'll have NBA coverage, and then every day we'll have voice chats in the rundfs.com VIP Discord. You guys can grab a mic, jump in there, talk up some plays with us, or just listen in. We don't mind. Lurkers gonna lurk. And then we've been having some fun with the nightly PlayStation 4 games, but no games tonight. Tonight it's going to be NFL research night like we do every Saturday during the candle burn. So come be part of the fam. You're also going to get access to the rundfs.com VIP spreadsheets that we have for NBA and for NFL. Hey, YouTube, you guys subscribe on YouTube, but you're not with us over at Twitch. I'm telling you, man, you're going to want to make the switch. You're going to want to be there for the live streams because we've been having fun. We've been having a blast. We can do so much more over there, playing some music, interacting with users being able to support a little bit more and interact with the stream, bits and subscribers, and the chat's wild, man. It's so much fun over there. I am having the time of my life live streaming on YouTube. So if you guys have been fans of the content or found value in the content, the live stream breakdowns, we're still doing them. We're still doing them over there on twitch.tv/Gundacker99. You heard Devontae Graham. He wants you to come follow and tell a friend to tell a friend, and then tell a friend to tell some mo, because we're trying to make partner over there. In order to make partner on Twitch, you have to average 75 viewers per stream. And right now we're kind of hovering between 40, 50, high 50s on the right night. So I do feel like we're not far from grinding toward our goal and reaching our goal. So if you want to help be a pioneer in the Twitch community, man, I would sure appreciate you taking some time out to make an account over there. It's really, really fast, really, really simple. And Twitch has amazing apps on your phone, your mobile devices, on your desktop. And it's just as easy as YouTube to consume the content over there. Yes, we're trying to build categories over there. We haven't been granted a fantasy sports category yet, but there are a lot of really, really smart, bigger than me DFS mindsets and voices over there that I really have faith that it's coming. So come be part of the movement, man. Get on Twitch and look around. I'll try and post a list of other DFS Twitch streamers that you guys, if you want to really expand and take advantage of that platform fully, it's a beautiful thing. We have 4 games of basketball tonight on DraftKings and FanDuel, and what a 4 games we have, man. I really think this is like super fun because every game, literally every game, is worth having players from. They're all fun matchups, a couple really all fast-paced matchups. Each game featuring a couple less than stellar defenses, some studs, a couple teams on night 2 of a back-to-back, New Orleans, Golden State, Memphis. So we get to deal with potential rest and pop-up value. But one thing I really like about this slate is it's going to be over really quick. 3 games at 7 Central, 8 Eastern, and the first game at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. So it's going to be kind of like a turbo slate with full-on regular slate money. And I think it might be pretty high scoring for a 4-gamer. But I think I'm going to have some fun making lineups today. So hopefully you will too. Kind of ironic that I did all this plugging for twitch.tv/Gundagger99, and I'm not sure just yet if we should stream, but I'm willing to leave it up to you guys. If we did stream, I'd probably shoot for something closer to 4 p.m. Eastern rather than 3, like we have been doing on the bigger slates. But man, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Is it? Do we have to? Is it just 4 games? Do we need to? You guys just want to hang out? Maybe leave a comment. Let me know. I was thinking about doing a like goal. You know, like how many likes would it take for you guys to show me that you wanted to hang out on the air this afternoon? Maybe 50? 50? Can we do 50 likes on this video? If we do that and I check my phone while I'm sleeping and I see, okay, the video's got 50 likes, maybe I'll roll out of bed and hang out with you guys. And pop a bang. I don't mind doing that, but I just didn't know if you guys felt it was necessary on a 4-game slate. And you know, I don't mind taking an afternoon off, even though I'm not actually taking an afternoon off. So let me know. 50 likes, 50 or more likes, we'll do an afternoon stream. And if we do achieve that, we'll probably do the stream at 4 p.m. Eastern, so 3 p.m. Central. Right? Good? Capiche? First game tonight, New Orleans Pelicans taking on Charlotte Hornets. Pelicans rolled out a deep rotation last night, probably inspired by the fact that they were on the front end of back-to-back in a lopsided game. Did take the L to the Raptors, 122-104. Now they're going to travel from New Orleans to Charlotte, which I believe loses an hour in time zone, central to east. It's not a favorable spot there on night 2 of a back-to-back. Projected starting 5, Lonzo Ball, Drew Holiday, Brandon Ingram, Nicolo Melli, Jalil Okafor taking on Terry Rozier, Dwayne Bacon, Miles Bridges, PJ Washington, and Cody Zeller. Total of 231.5 and a 1.5 point spread in favor of the New Orleans Pelicans. So like I said, there's a couple teams on night 2 of a back-to-back, and I think those teams are teams that we need to watch a little bit closer for potential pop-up value and potential rest. And I do think the Pelicans have a couple candidates for night 2 of a back-to-back with travel rest. Looking at maybe Drew Holiday, but especially looking at a guy like Derek Favors. Favors last night, I believe he played something like 19 minutes. Yeah, 19 minutes last night, 8 against Brooklyn. He did play the last back-to-back for the team, 22 and 18. So, you know, this is more of kind of like me being a speculative guy, knowing that Derek Favors historically has had some injury stuff, some general soreness. So he'd be a name I'd look at just to make sure he plays. If he didn't play, that would likely create a clearer path for Okafor to play closer to 30 minutes. And we've seen what type of upside Jalil Okafor does have with the right minutes and the right opportunity. 29, 34 minutes in Denver and at OKC. 38 fantasy points apiece. And then when Favors came back, 21. And then last night, 15 minutes. So I don't think 3,500 for Okafor on a 4-game slate against the Charlotte Hornets is the worst punt in the world just in and of itself. So I might even have him in the pool to begin with, but I think his level of lucrativity, is that a word? If it's that a phrase? Whoa. Level of lucrativity. Put that on a shirt and give me the proceeds. Would increase if Derek Favors was out. So look out for that. Elsewhere on this team, man, the minutes have been really, really up and down. Their main guy to target from the Pelicans lately has been Brandon Ingram, who had a fine fantasy game last night. 27 real points, 7 boards, 31 minutes of play. Did get the north side of 40 fantasy points. He's 8K on the dot. Charlotte has been a great matchup for high usage, high minute guys to get all the peripherals in the world on top of their points scored. So I don't mind him. Lonzo Ball's minutes have been down. Drew Holiday at 7,700. It's hard to love Drew Holiday. But his minutes, 30, 34, 35 minutes. Remember last night got a little lopsided. He's been pushing 40 fantasy points in 4 games straight. So, maybe, not the best value on the table, but certainly somebody that's in play for me just on a 4-game slate where my most likely approach is to mass center and just kind of have a bit of everything, game stack everything, team stack everything, and have a little bit of fun with it. I probably don't see myself getting to any Nicolo Melli or any of these secondary plays outside of long shot GPP tournaments like Josh Hart at 56, 5,300. I'm looking for 30 fantasy points there. If it was one of those spots where he still got the game or the minutes, it is a high peripheral opportunity where he could get a game like 15 rebounds against this team and put up 30 fantasy points. But that's pretty much the benchmark for what I need at that price point. So it might be on the verge, but we'll see if anything shakes and bakes with this Pelicans team. A couple vets like JJ Redick and Derek Favors, guys like that, I kind of want to make sure are closer to in or out before I make stronger decisions. And then the Charlotte Hornets, man. Devontae Graham, 6,400 on FanDuel, 6,700 on DraftKings. How do I not play Devontae Graham? But man, set up the video today. The absolute GOAT. So much fun to watch. 30 minutes against Boston, 42 against Indiana. That went to overtime. But he's still getting 30 minutes a game. He is a point guard. He plays alongside Terry Rozier as well as gets run on his own. And he's special. He's magical. He has an ability to put up high scoring games. You see 37 in 30 minutes against Boston, 56 against Indiana. Is a scorer. Like, he can score the ball. Likely going to shoot double-digit times. And with this pace, I'm in. I'm a buyer. I'm loving this spot for him. Might even push 40 fantasy points. I get not having the warm and fuzzies on his price point on either site. Another spot where I need 30. And I guess maybe I'm a little bit more biased. But I definitely will have a large heaping of a Devontae Graham. He has been somewhat low-owned the last couple slates. And I'm not sure people keep fading him if he's under 5K. But since his price has kind of come up with his production, I think I could see people staying away and him just being like 15 or less % owned. So I will take a strong stand on a guy like him today because I think the matchup in the game script is pretty much foolproof for him. If it did get out of control, the Hornets have been getting on the wrong side of some lopsided scorers, then he would still go out there and thrive. And then if it played fast-paced and electric, low defense style of basketball, I think he would thrive in that type of role and pace as well. Other guys here from the Hornets, I think they're all in play. I think if you can marry yourself to the thought of some of these secondary Pelicans players to get in deep minutes, if we get some ins and outs, like Lonzo Ball at 6,600 on DraftKings, if we were to sniff the around 30 fantasy points, I think is very viable. The thing is, he's been playing closer to 20 than 30, so it's not a warm and fuzzy spot. But same with the Hornets here. We got a lot of guys that we can project for 30 or more minutes that certainly make my player pool, and they're really, really cheap to hit or exceed value at their price point. The few that kind of stick out to me, I mentioned Devontae Graham, but Miles Bridges and P.J. Washington. Both of these guys I have immediate interest in. Miles Bridges is 6,100. Look at the minutes for him. 33 minutes in that last game. 43 in overtime, sure. 29 against Golden State. 34, 36, 37. The minutes will be there, and then this pace is fast enough that you might fall into some extra peripherals. 10 rebounds against Boston. Not a lock by any stretch because 13 and 23 and 28 are not satisfactory range of outcomes. And they are range of outcomes for this matchup. But the minutes in this spot, I'm definitely willing to target and kind of offset some of my median expectations. And then PJ Washington, $6,000 for him. I kind of like the idea of him having an opportunity at a higher peripheral game. 5 blocks in that Boston game. The first time all year he's had more than 1 block in a game. But usually a higher minute guy that we can go after. No warm and fuzzies here, but he did put up 38 against Sacramento and a 39 against Chicago. So would be in my pool as a low tier 3. Devontae Graham leading my player pool as my favorite play here. And then just because he burned the field last game, Terry Rozier, who was upwards of 44% in a lot of contests in that quote-unquote revenge game against Boston. Still going to take double-digit shot attempts. Still going to be a fast-paced spot. I don't mind looking at him as just a, hand touch the stove, they're not touching the stove again type of play. But a 7K, we've only seen him really return favors on this price point once, and that was against Sacramento. And 7K 46 is not something you have to have. So I'm targeting maybe more so Bridges and Graham, and then I'll have a little bit of PJ Washington just based on this pace. And Cody Zeller just seems like his minutes are reduced enough that I can't love it. If I could feel confident that 25-30 minutes is back in his potential wheelhouse tonight, I could certainly project him for closer to 30 fantasy points, and maybe that's a stocking stuffer worth having. But Bismack Biyombo's been getting some run. Marvin Williams and Cody Martin, they've been finding minutes to get Cody Martin involved. A couple of games ago, PJ Washington got injured in that Pacers game. The game where he just played 24 minutes, and Cody Martin came out and did work. So that front court looks like it's going to have a pretty diluted minute diet plan for a lot of the bigs. So give me some Devontae. Moving on, all 3 games at the same time. Chicago Bulls hosting the Houston Rockets. First of all, somebody tell me what the average strip club rating for Chicago is, so I know whether or not to play James Harden. Project 75 for the Rockets: Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Daniel House, PJ Tucker, Clint Capella taking on Tomas Satoransky, Zach LaVine, Chandler Hutchison, there's a name, Lauri Markkanen, and Wendell Carter Jr. We'll start with the surprise name, if you guys haven't been paying attention to the news. Otto Porter is out, dealing with a left foot sprain. He's been dinged up by minor face and ankle injuries this season. He checked himself out of Wednesday's game in an obvious discomfort due to the foot issue. He was able to return to the contest, but it looks like he's going to at least sit this one out. Looks like Chandler Hutchison will start in his place. So now we have a value play to do some research on. I have him at 24 minutes as a soft conservative projection. And he's really, really cheap on both FanDuel and DraftKings. And on a 4-game slate with so many studs, we're going to want a couple 3,500 or less candidates. 15 minutes against the Lakers, 19 against Atlanta. Almost a point per minute, or had a shot at being a point per minute against Atlanta with 15 fantasy points. If we move this to 25 minutes and maybe even 30 minutes, could he be 20-plus fantasy point contributor and be a viable play? I think so. I think most people would agree with that. Looks like Eric Gordon's back in the mix for the Rockets. The Rockets have been a little bit deeper in terms of their bench, but should be encouraging to note that in that last game against the Warriors, we finally saw Clint Capella get more than 30 minutes of game time, 36 minutes of action, 57 fantasy points, 6 blocks. Insane night for him. He is 7,400 here. I think he's going to be at that awkward price range where people don't run to play him. And we've talked about how the Bulls allow a lot of blocks per game. And, Capella's going to be under AK and get an opportunity at those minutes. And do some of the defensive peripherals that he has shown an ability to do, such as 5 blocks, he could be a sneaky tournament play that just doesn't fall, right? Because I think with so many high-priced guys, Harden, Doncic, Westbrook, D-Russ, there's not going to be a whole lot of between 7 and 8K guys that garner a lot of ownership just because they're going to have a lot of salary being eaten up by the top guys. So, interesting. Russell Westbrook versus James Harden. What do you do with either or both? James Harden, even with Westbrook back, even in a 15-point spread against the Golden State Warriors, 74.5 fantasy points. We knew he wasn't going to shoot 27% forever, and he didn't. 43.5% against the Warriors, 16 shots from behind the arc. At 11.8K on a 4-game slate, he probably just needs to be the highest scoring player. But hey, look at this gap. He's the only player above 10K on this entire slate. So his responsibility, the pressure for him to really produce at a high level on a 4-game slate is even higher. And if he gets 70, he probably finds his way in the winning lineup one way or the other. But there are some competitors much cheaper than him that all have strong shots at 50s and 60s. And I am wondering just where Harden's ownership will fall. I don't know that I can say right now that he'll be the highest owned player because Doncic might have a curveball with Porzingis potentially resting. And then, of course, D-Russ doing what he did last night. And I think if, people play D-Russ and Doncic, they're not going to have a whole lot of cap room for a near 12K James Harden. So I'm thinking, that might be enough to neutralize the field on Harden's ownership. PJ Tucker's almost 6K. I'm looking for 30 from that. And then Westbrook's 9K. Westbrook did get hurt in that last game, and it was a blowout anyway, so he didn't have to do everything that he usually does. Just 30 minutes of action. Still was well over a point per minute. Wasn't far from a triple-double. I'm willing to go back to the well after 2 down games, bringing his price down to 9K. We've certainly seen to start the season a bunch of 50 pluses. I would gladly take 50 plus at 9K. I think this is more so a game based on what you think his or what you think the game script is. Right now, the visiting Rockets are favored by 6.5, and we've also seen that the Rockets defensively haven't been great in terms of points per game allowed. They're giving up the 3rd most points per game. But I did see a fun short sample stat the other night that said that the Rockets starting 5 with Daniel House had one of the higher defensive efficiencies in the league. But I don't know that I expect that to sustain. What I do like here in this matchup, if you go to the pace chart in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet and look at the team stats tab, the Rockets currently have the 2nd fastest pace in the NBA. I love me some Zach LaVine in fast-paced matchups. 7,300 for LaVine. I think this is a spot for him where he could drop 40, 50 fantasy points pretty easily. Dropped almost 40 against the Lakers. And then another fast match. Look at all these games, first of all. Let's do a little bit of, hey, this is what Gunn looks for. I'll pull this to the side, and I'll name off the last couple of or the matchups for the Bulls lately, right? Atlanta Hawks, and if we find, matter of fact, we'll just sort it by alphabetical order. Atlanta Hawks, 102.8 possessions per game, middle of the field, middle of the pack in pace. Los Angeles Lakers are kind of mid-pack, 103.1, and he did all right there. Indiana Pacers are 102.3 possessions per game, so closer to low than high. Matter of fact, I would just say that's a slow pace. The Detroit Pistons, 102.5 possessions per game, slow. The Cleveland Cavaliers, we know they're going to be one of the slowest teams, 102.7. New York Knicks, really, really slow. A lot of red. Red means slow, green means fast, by the way. Toronto Raptors, a little bit faster. Against them, he put up 17 in 30 minutes. They kind of shut him down. And then Memphis, we know Memphis is really, really fast. 108.5 possessions per game. He dropped 59.5 DKP, and then Charlotte 102.8. So the Bulls have actually faced a lot of slow-paced teams to start this season, and I think because of that, we've seen Zach LaVine price go to 7,300, which is one of his lowest price points of the season. I think he was 72 against the Lakers. But this is a spot for him to really take off. I love him in transition, him in fast break, breakaway dunks, all that good stuff. Houston Rockets giving away amongst the most points in the league on the fast break, which is only natural because of how many possessions they have and how fast they run. Do I have fast break listed over here? No, we don't. Okay. So yeah, give me some Zach LaVine at 7,300. I like that a lot. And with Otto Porter out, I think it's another bump for him. It's also a slight bump here for Lauri Markkanen, who at 6,300, man, I know Markkanen hasn't been as consistent as he was last year, but in the games last year where he was popping off, we saw LaVine out, we saw Chris Dunn out, we just saw him play really, really heavy minutes. This is a price point where I can settle for mid-30s and be quite content. So I will definitely have Lauri Markkanen shares today. If we go to the Power Forward DVP tab in the RunDFS.com VIP spreadsheet, the Houston Rockets have been essentially the best matchup for opposing power forwards in terms of fantasy. So give me some Markkanen for sure, especially give me some Zach LaVine. Satoransky just had a huge game for tournaments. He's at 5,700 today. But he dropped 49 in 30 minutes against the Atlanta Hawks. Shot 10 for 13 and did enough peripheral-wise, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, to be a huge, huge catalyst in winning a lot of money. And this matchup is a fruitful matchup. And no game and no team is off limits for me today. So I would certainly have some Sato in the pool, probably a tier 3. And then we'd go from there. And then some peripheral supplementary plays like a Kobe White become long shot tournament darts that I don't mind. I think Kobe White has the skill set to thrive in a fast-paced matchup like this. Wendell Carter Jr. I don't hate. I think with any of these bigs, these potential hack-happy bigs like Wendell Carter Jr., who fouled out in 13 minutes, when you put their foul problems up against guys like Westbrook and James Harden, more scared, more spooked to target them. So I wouldn't be a high investor on Wendell Carter because of that reason. But certainly everyone's in play. So I like this game a lot. I like every game. I really do. This is like the first short slate where every game is something I can take a piece of. And then this next game, Oklahoma City Thunder hosting the Golden State Warriors. Project starting five for the Warriors: D'Angelo Russell, Jordan Poole, Glenn Robinson III, Eric Pascal, Willie Cauley-Stein, taking on Chris Paul, SGA, Terrence Ferguson, Danilo Gallinari, and Stone Cold Steven Adams. Unique spot for the Thunder because they're going to catch one of the worst teams in the league right now, both offensively and defensively, especially defensively. On night two back after they played overtime, after D-Russ had the game of his life and still took a loss, and that's an exhausting loss to do that well. Have personal records and just be such a massive game, and then to walk away with the L and travel, and so it's an exhausting emotional loss. Maybe watch for some funny business in terms of news and rest and whatnot. D-Russ is obviously really young, so I don't project him to be rest or anything like that, but you never quite know what the Warriors are thinking right now in terms of where their organization is at and how they will approach things going forward. This is a 12-point spread. OKC looks like they're going to be the largest favorites on the board. And everyone on OKC, I think, is priced where they can hit value for sure. Chris Paul is closer to 7K, so I'm looking for maybe the north side of 40. SGA is 7,100. I think he's another 7K guy, kind of like Capella, that I don't mind just because he might slip through the cracks. I think I like targeting him in fast-paced games as well. And if you look at the recent Thunder schedule. It's been some medium to slow pace opportunities in games. San Antonio, Orlando's real slow. New Orleans, one of the faster paced teams, he dropped 42. Houston, one of the faster paced teams, he dropped 40. And then we look earlier at Golden State, faster paced team, almost 40. Washington, 52. So kind of in the Zach LaVine breath. I think at this price, I'm a buyer because I do think he's going to get 35 minutes almost regardless of game script. So I don't mind him at all. Chris Paul is interesting. I feel like I never want to rely on Chris Paul these days. Probably gives you a shot at 30 plus. Do we push the issue any further than that? Probably not. But I definitely like SGA. Gallinari's coming off his best game of the season from a fantasy perspective. Dropped 40 fantasy points, 27 real points. Pretty scoring dependent night for him. 7 for 10 from the field, 5 for 6 from behind the arc. And then, of course, a bunch of free throws to boot. So 6,400, it wouldn't be the crazy shot in the dark, right? Robert Covington, Andrew Wiggins, all those cats were able to thrive last night. I don't mind looking at Gallo, but he'd be a tier 3 at best right now, pending any further news. And then with Golden State last night, it was the D-Russ show and no one else. Maybe some Alec Burks. Look at the discrepancy between D'Angelo Russell and everyone else. Alec Burks, 18 real points. Eric Pascal, 12 real points. Every other Warrior had single-digit real points, where D-Russ dropped 52. So it's fair to say that he's taken a lot of uses. He took 37 shot attempts last night. That's actually incredible. I'm not even mad. An entire wheel of cheese for D-Russ here. And I think the question is there any funny business with D-Russ? Night 2 of a back-to-back going against a much, much better defense than the Minnesota Timberwolves. At 8,500, what do we need? I mean, how does he let us down at 8,500? We'll start with 40 fantasy points and take that, right? We'll take that, walk away. He probably would be projected. What do we got him right now in the spreadsheet? 30, 34? I don't know if I'm buying that. I mean, OKC's been a good defense, man. I don't know. You guys let me know what you're thinking, man. Leave me a comment. Is D-Russ a lock at 8,500? Does he for sure give you 40 plus? Or do we take our money and run from last night and go find some extra money for the Lucas of the world? Maybe save some money for the BIs. I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like I might be overthinking it at this price point with that usage, that volume. For now. Earlier this season, D'Angelo Russell up against the Oklahoma City Thunder was ejected in 22 minutes of play. So a little bit more steam, a little bit more narrative for this matchup. He didn't necessarily get ejected for having heat with any of the other players. He didn't get a foul call and he chest bumped a ref and the ref had to toss him. So it was more of a referee thing than a revenge and OKC thing. But yeah, last time we went to OKC, he got tossed from the ball game. So that's something to keep in mind. Let's go look at the last couple of guards against. We got time, right? You guys don't mind. We got time. Look at the last couple guards against Oklahoma City Thunder because I think this is the decision of the day. Obviously, if you're multi-entering, you're not going to have no D-Russ. It's just a matter of how much. We know DeJounte Murray just went all the way off, but he's a freaking animal, and he pretty much did it by flirting with a triple-double. Markelle Fultz, 24 and 24. Lonzo Ball, 35 and 33. Damian Lillard, 58 and a quarter and 39. Westbrook, 50 and a half and 36. I mean, it's not like they're locking down opposing guards. At least not keeping them to bad fantasy nights. None of those guards scored more than 7 field goals, but none of those guards are really... I mean, Dame. That's the question, chat. How much D-Russ? There's too much D-Russ. 12-point spread here for OKC. Give me some SGA. Steven Adams is intriguing at 5,400 just because the Warriors will probably miss or take a bunch of shots. There's a lot of rebound potential. If you thought that a smooth leverage plan for tournaments would be to bank on a blowout here and you start cherry picking some of these garbage time guys, I don't think it would be insane for Dennis Schroeder to have 30 or more fantasy points based on the matchup, based on the pace. If you look at his recent game log, 26-9, 34 against the fast-paced New Orleans teams, and against Golden State, 48 fantasy points in 25 minutes. So I certainly wouldn't mind him. You guys saw Andrew Wiggins was able to have a pretty epic day against this team. So I'll probably have tournament shares regardless of some Schroeder, for sure. Let's move on to the next game. Dallas Mavericks at the Memphis Grizzlies. Mavericks and Grizzlies are both on night 2 of a back-to-back. Mavericks last night played the New York Knicks and lost. And the Memphis Grizzlies played the Orlando Magic and lost, I believe. I've got the Magic. Yeah, Orlando put the whooping on them. So both teams dealing with back-to-back rest nonsense. The projected starting five for the Mavericks: Luka Doncic, Seth Curry, Dorian Finney-Smith, Kristaps Porzingis, Dwight Powell, taking on Ja Morant, Dillon Brooks, Jay Crowder, Jaren Jackson Jr., Jonas Valanciunas. There's not currently a total online as of this second where I'm speaking, and it's like 6:08 in the morning. And that's because Kristaps Porzingis is questionable due to rest. Porzingis said that last night he took a step forward, but it sucks that they didn't get the win. Did play his former team, Knicks, by the way. Coach Rick Carlisle didn't say if KP was going to play on Saturday in his first back-to-back set, but it would be shocking to see him out there after months of saying that they were going to be cautious. That aside, it was a very encouraging night with his play minutes and how he looked on tape. So, very open for interpretation there. But it certainly seems like if you were erring to the side of caution, and if you're a Mavs fan, you're probably going to want Kristaps Porzingis to take the night off. And if Kristaps Porzingis took the night off, Luka Doncic at 9,600 on DraftKings, 10.6 on FanDuel, would certainly project as an elite play and a potential shot at the highest scoring player on the entire slate. Dropped 70 fantasy points last night, and that's just been Luka Doncic basketball. That is his third 70 bomb in the last 4 games. It's just a triple-double threat every time he touches the court. The one game that he didn't excel from a fantasy perspective was against the Orlando Magic, and you guys have heard me kind of tout that the Magic are a really good defense. A lot of people aren't giving them the love and respect that they deserve. I don't think they're built to win a championship or anything like that, but if we go to defensive efficiency, Magic have the 3rd best defensive efficiency in basketball, allowing 98.2 points per game, which is the 2nd best behind the Utah Jazz right now. So I can find myself forgiving Luka Doncic not having a great night against the Orlando Magic. If we go to points per game allowed, Memphis Grizzlies are top 10 in most points allowed per game, 106.9 points per 100 possession. They're giving up a lot of points on the inside, and of course, they run an extremely fast pace, 108.5 possessions per game. It's an elite spot for Luka Doncic, regardless of Porzingis' status, but it would certainly amplify his usage and his floor and upside that much more should Porzingis sit for rest. And if I had to guess right now, I'd probably make lineups assuming he was out. And I would encourage you guys to kind of do the same. I don't know how long that news might take to leak, but it certainly stands to reason that like if you started working on some lineups early in the day, or at least have a plan in action rather, right? Don't let the Porzingis in or out news completely shock you. Like have a plan either way. I think Doncic is a play regardless. I don't think I need Porzingis out to love Doncic today. I really don't. But if Porzingis was to be out, we'd probably project maybe a twin tower type of lineup with Maxi Kleber and Dwight Powell. Maybe DFS stretches out to the 4. And we see Jalen Brunson come in, Justin Jackson, stuff like that. They have several different options, Rick Carlisle does, on how they can roll this game. If Porzingis were to be out, I don't hate a shot at Dwight Powell. He's a guy that I think is kind of sneaky as a really active big man to pick up extra peripherals, reach out there for some extra rebounds, and maybe get some blocks or whatnot. Not of course, not a game log that we'd love to see one shot in 27 minutes, but if Porzingis is out, I wouldn't mind flirting with him in tournaments. I will say 4,800 for Dwight, all things considered now. That's probably a yucky price. Like, he really went up in price for no reason. I mean, I think there's a couple games in here where Maxey missed. Yeah, that's a little yucky. I don't know how we explain the increase in price. All right, I'll kind of back off my Dwight stance there a little bit. Clayball at 4,100, I don't mind. He probably could get closer to 30 minutes with Porzingis out. DFS at 3,600 for him. Certainly could see more time as a stretch 4. 22, 29 minutes his last couple games. He hasn't been great with Porzingis in, but I think if he sniffs the north side of 20 fantasy points, a couple games here with 25 fantasy points against the Lakers, wouldn't hate having a little bit of that. But I do think this Mavericks team is about to be super, super deep. They just got J.J. Barea back, and it's pretty much a deep rotation from wings to guards. But against the Memphis Grizzlies, if Porzingis was out, I don't think only Luka is the player, right? I think Seth Curry is the guy that can make up some of these Porzingis shots. I mean, realistically, how many shots are we trying to replace? 22 shots last night, 14. Seth Curry's a shooter. Jalen Brunson can score, be sneaky. There's a couple range of outcomes where the Mavs value players bridge the gap for your studs and scrubs lineup, especially considering this matchup. Grizzlies are not a team that offer a lot of high predictive value in, I don't want to say predictive value. That's the wrong term because we do kind of know how they're running their minute rotation. And it's basically thin. John Morant has not really played 30 minutes this season outside of the overtime game with the Brooklyn Nets. Dylan Brooks and Jay Crowder are kind of the safer shots at 30 fantasy points, and maybe Dylan Brooks is the first guy I would look at for the Grizzlies to make my player pool. 13 DKP against the aforementioned Orlando Magic last night. We talked about how the Magic are just suffocating on defense. It was a blowout. Prior to that, we've been seeing 30, 32 minutes, 24, 23. He has a chance to put up 30-plus fantasy points. At 5,900, it's not a bargain. Maybe the risk-reward isn't great. But he'd be somebody I look at. Same with Jay Crowder. Revenge game, quote-unquote. But no one here is going to tickle my fancy and give me the warm and fuzzies. So I'll probably move on from the Grizzlies. If you guys have someone specifically from the Grizzlies that you think is a great play, fire them away. Even John Morant's hard to love at 69. It's just like such a glass ceiling based on lack of minutes for me that I just don't see myself getting there or having to get there. Like I said, no 30 minutes outside of the overtime game. And at 7K, the risk reward just isn't fruitful enough for me to take a shot. So, yeah, that's the 4 games for today. Should we try and play with a lineup here? Let me look at the value chart here, kind of see what was based on baseline projections. Who kind of stands out as a value play? Okafor does. Thad Young does. That could be a trickle effect from Otto Porter being out. Paul Dwight. Heart wants what the heart wants. All right, bunch of 7K guys I do like. I do like Zach LaVine. Do like SGA. Could we get away with like a super 7K lineup? I don't think there's any way that one of the studs doesn't end up there. But yeah, Doncic, of course, will throw him in the pool. If we thought Favors could be out. Kleba, I think it's safe to say that Porzingis will miss, and Kleba's been fine. We'll put him in the pool. 5K per. So you can kind of get away with that. Do we have room for one more big? I don't know. Harden in there, 35. Yeah, you probably can do Harden, but yeah, I think you could pretty much make lineups all the way around with only one player over 10K. It's probably going to be like that. But yeah, man, hopefully some news will come out throughout the day, kind of open up our eyes and potential value and clear things up a little bit. But for the most part, I think this should be a fun slate to multi-enter. 20 entry max, 100 entry max, 150. You can kind of play several different angles, game stacks, team stacks. And that's kind of going to be my approach. So yeah, if you guys think we should hang out again this afternoon, let me know. 50 plus likes, leave a comment. Or tweet at me, twitter.com/GundackerSports. AEW tonight, man. Who's amped for AEW? Cody Rhodes, incredible promo against Chris Jericho. I'm amped for that. Twitch.tv/Gundacker99. That's where to reach out and have some more fun with us. Be part of the live streams. If you guys, if we don't do a stream today, which I think we probably will, Monday through Friday, we've been doing them every afternoon. Come be part of that. And then, of course, get signed up at rundfs.com. Be part of the premium Discord, man. That's the biggest. I think that's probably the best value or the best tool of it all. It's just to be in that Discord and be able to bounce ideas off of people 24/7. And then, of course, the spreadsheets ain't bad either. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go catch some shut-eye. Hope you've enjoyed a little bit of a preview for this one. I hope you enjoy your Saturday. If you're watching some college football, man, go your favorite team. And we'll rendezvous later on this afternoon and at least at 5 p.m. Eastern. I'll be in the VIP voice chat to kind of get ready for this slate. So I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Catch you in the next video. Love you guys. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money.